Greetings everybody, my name's John. I'm putting out this video to talk about uh, basically the doctrine of isupk. Them guys tend to, and also the Nation of Islam and other people who tend to preach this black supremacy and condemn white people. And I'm just here to put the video out about that. The biggest misconception that people get is they tend to just be like, black people, Israel was black and da 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 da, which I'm not going against. You know what I'm saying? I'm convinced that's true. True enough said. But when you go into the doctrine of saying, I know I'm from this tribe and I'm from that tribe, you can't prove it. You know what I'm saying? You can't prove that, the tribe of what they say Judah is nothing but black people and da 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 da. Abraham was not an Israelite. While I'm still convinced that he was black, you know what I'm saying, he was still not an Israelite. Neither was Lot, his nephew. Lot had sex with his daughters, and had Moab and Benami. I'm convinced that those people were black also. Also, you notice that Ruth, in the book of Ruth, chapter 1, verse 1 through 6, you see that some people from Israel, Bethlehem, Judah, a Jew, went to Moab, and he died, but his two sons married two Moabites. One was Ruth, and I forgot the other one name. But later in verse 15 through 18, I believe, you see how Ruth don't want to go back to worshiping her foreign Elohim and going back with her sister or whatever, her sister-in-law. She wants to stay with her dead husband's mother, and follow her back to Bethlehem to go follow Yahweh. She said, wherever you go, I go. Whatever you do, I do. I will not depart from you. I want to worship Yahweh. She just gave up being a Moabitess, and also it says, the David stemmed from her after she married Boaz or whatever. David came from her womb, not from her womb, but came from her blood, and also the Messiah. You know what I'm saying? So she actually took part in the genealogical records of the Messiah. So you can't just go around saying, oh, we're not supposed to mingle this, we're not supposed to mingle that. How do you know today that you're not mingling with somebody from another tribe or from somewhere else? The biggest mistake that people make is they tend to forget that the Bible only names tribes that surrounded Israel. It was way more land, way more, nations out throughout the whole world. You know what I'm saying? The Bible didn't use that. It never talked about people who stayed in Antarctica, Ireland, Greenland, although those names didn't exist back then, but those lands did. It never talked about those people. The Bible only prophesied on the nations around Israel so that Israel can see the prophecies come to pass. So to say that white people come from Esau, all white people come from Esau, that's stupid. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard. You don't know where these people came from. You can put two white people beside each other. One might, if it could happen where somebody traces their records all the way back to Esau, but then you might have one that probably stays somewhere in the world that the Bible never talks about. You know what I'm saying? It said out the time of Babel, them people spread throughout the whole world, and some of those people never was talked about again. It's not like they stayed in this one land and the whole world was in this one area and the Bible talks about every nation. It don't. It only talks about the nations that was around Israel. Also, another big misconception of right now physical Israel is you have people like this, Israelite heritage people. Though they write on a lot of stuff, I'm not gonna lie and say they ain't. They are. They still wrong on a couple of things. They got questions like, what is a Hebrew? What is an Israelite? Who are the Hebrew Israelites? What is a Jew? And I started reading it, and when I got to, everything was pretty much all right. You know what I'm saying? Until I got to question number 4 of what is a Jew. And this is what they put down for that. The ancient Hebrews were not called Jews. This is a mistranslation. A Jew is not a Hebrew word. It's English, which is correct. Jew is a word that was created by Gentiles and given to the Israelite tribe of Yahudah or Judah. Yah, the Most High, did not give his people the name of Jew. This was done by men. Jew is not in the 1611 King James Version of the Bible. The ancient Hebrew Israelites were not Jews. Neither are their descendants. Excuse me. But if you practice the religion of Judaism or subscribe to the Jewish culture or tradition, then you could be called a Jew. That's where they messed up at. See, nobody tends to look at the real side of things. Jew, which is really Yahuda or Yahudim, I should say Jews, means this time I call on Yahweh. That's Genesis 29 verse 35. You know, I'm gonna read you this passage I got from this book called "The Jews in the Time of Yahshua." Say Jesus, but you know I don't listen to that crap. Page 20, it says Israelites become Jews. Early in the Persian Empire era, the term Israelite, which is B'nai Yisrael, children of Israel, fell out of use. With the 12 tribes of Israel long gone, the remaining people came to be called Jews after their country of Judah. The Persians called the restored Jewish country the province of Yahud, or Judah. The people who came from there, whether still in the country or in Babylon or living elsewhere in the 127 provinces of the empire, were called Jews. The Jews retained the term Israel as a poetic term for their collective group identity. Also, I'm going to read down in another highlighted area. It says the Assyrians, in intentionally mixing up their subject people, had brought in settlers from other lands. These mixed with the remaining Israelite peasants and following ancient custom, adopted the religion of the land. Thus, the Samaritans were Jewish by religion, not by descent. So you see that wherever you were born, that's basically what they call you. If I was born, I'm born in Memphis. I'm a Memphian. Nothing can change that. If Memphis was a religion, but I was born in Memphis, I would still be a Memphian, but I don't have to practice the religion of Memphis. You see what I'm saying? Just because if my mama was going to Judah, the tribe of Judea, I mean the land of Judea, and she was pregnant with me, and I all of a sudden was born over there, I would be a Jew. But religiously, or the way is what people want to prefer to it as, I wouldn't be a Jew. Why? I don't practice what they do over there. The land Judea was named after that tribe because they were calling on Yahweh. That's the land of Yahweh, just like the Shasu people. When Egypt triumphed over them in the land of Midian, which is basically Canaan, the land was called Yahu. You know what I'm saying? Named after their pantheon, Elohim. And, you know, that name of that place was called Yahu. So the Shasu people, you can also call them Yahudim because what? They worship Yahweh. That was you can actually look that stuff up on the internet about the name Yahweh, which was they found in a expeditional archaeological find where they found that the Shasu people actually called on the name of Yahweh. But on to another story anyway. The ISUPK guys, they be yelling at people saying the Edomites gonna die because of what Malachi chapter 1 verse 3 or something like that say. I'm gonna read you something else about what happened with the Edomites. Most people feel that, you know, white people are Edomites and they gonna die regardless what they do or whatever. But the Bible says he would bring the Edomites down to nothing, though they rebuild. He was talking about, notice in the book of Malachi, was talking about land area. So I'm gonna read you this. Little known fact that people, you know, they say white people don't preach that black people are the chosen people. Well, black people also don't preach the whole truth. They call apologists. Anytime somebody makes a statement, they're making an apologetic statement, which means defensive statement to encourage their doctrine. Me, I don't take sides. I'm all for Yahweh. It's Yahweh die. So I'm apologetic or defense for Yahweh. I'm gonna tell you the truth and let you decide. But I'm going to read you this right here. It says, after some early expeditions to Galilee to save the Jews there from attack, the Hasmonean rulers, or the Maccabees, I'm pretty sure everybody know about that in the Apocrypha, rulers conquered Galilee and added to it their kingdom. They also conquered Idumea, which is the land of Edom, the ancient kingdom of Eden, east of the Dead Sea. John Hyrcanus forced the Gentile Galileans and Idumeans to convert to Judaism, the only forcible mass conversion in the history of Judaism. In the time of Yahshua, Galilee contained many Jews whose ancestors had only been Jewish for about a century. It does not seem that the Galileans or the Idumeans resisted their conversion. During the Great Rebellion, 66 to 70 CE, when the temple was destroyed, the Galileans and the Idumeans were the most adamant fighters against Rome. They fought the Romans to the death when many Judeans were ready to accept peace terms. So that right there is probably a prophecy fulfilled from Malachi. You know, because Yahweh said he would bring them down to nothing. The only way you can go back to being an Edomite, basically religiously or spiritually, you can't go back to being something physically, because circumcision was the physical thing that Israel used to, show that they were basically Jews of the temple. So for people to say, this person is an Edomite, you don't know where these people. I could have visited from Antarctica for all you know. Just because I'm white, you gonna label me an Edomite? You know what I'm saying? Man, get real. You know what I'm saying? Like, that don't make no sense. And also, they go, this one guy, he like using this verse in Romans chapter 8 verse 1 about, I'm from the tribe of Benjamin according to the flesh, talking about Paul preached racism. It's amazing that they use that verse, but they don't use verses like this. Mark chapter 3 verse 7, and Joshua with his disciples withdrew to the sea, and a great multitude from Galilee followed, and from Judea, and from Jerusalem, and from Idumea, ignorant, and beyond the Jordan. The people from Idumea, which was basically converted to, I ain't gonna say Judaism, but that's probably the best word to use, or the way, you know what I'm saying? These people came and listened to the Messiah. Also, Philippians 3:5. People use Paul so many ways, trying to prove their point, but I never heard one of them guys use this verse against me. They always go to Romans, according to the flesh, Paul, the black people, the white people, using all that crap. But right here in Philippians 3, verse 4, I'm going to read all the way down to 7. Though I myself might have confidence even in the flesh, he was talking about circumcision on this one. If any other man thinks to have confidence in the flesh, I yet more, circumcised the 8th day, of the stock of Israel, or of the kindred of Israel. Basically talking about his flesh. Check this out. The tribe of Benjamin, a Hebrew of Hebrews. As touching the law, I was a Pharisee. As touching zeal for the law, I was persecuting the assembly. As touching the righteousness which is in the law, I was found blameless. However, what things were gained to me, which is basically circumcision, the law keeping, and his, flesh, I'm this color, black supremacy or whatever. It says, these have I counted as loss for the Messiah. Yes, truly, and I count all things to be lost for the excellency of the knowledge of the Messiah, Yahshua, my sovereign, for whom I suffer the loss of all things, and do count them but dung, aka bull crap. You can look that word up in the dictionary. It's nothing but crap, manure. He counted that manure that I might gain the Messiah. So Paul did not preach racism. He preached the Messiah, which is what I try to tell people. Stop preaching all this racism stuff. Paul did not preach, black people this, black people that. No, what he preached was the Messiah and everything. All that stuff he counted for a loss. But for anybody who go around preaching white people this, and they always use Romans chapter 8, according to the flesh, I'm a Jew of Jews, white people, man, get out of here. They don't, that's why I said they make these apologetic statements. Use the whole Bible. Anytime you pull up a scripture and say, white people this, white people that, but then when I show folk other verses, they be like, I'm stupid. My verses don't matter, although I'm sticking to the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that don't make sense to me. So I'm finna wrap this one up. I only get 15 minutes to put out these videos, and I hope y'all enjoy this one. I'm put out part 2, so stay tuned for it.